Welcome, everyone. I'm Angie Gladwell, founder of the AG Effect and executive coach. I help leaders navigate life's transitions. And I am so excited today to be talking to my friend and colleague, Susan Page. She has a new book coming out in just a few days on June 15th, entitled A Life Before Love. And the reason I'm so excited to share this with you is there are a lot of books out there on relationships and how to build a healthy partnership. But she focuses on this powerful idea that in order to have a healthy relationship, you have to start first with knowing yourself. And so she takes us through some of her own journey, and uses her experience in coaching women to really help us rethink about happiness, love, and how you find fulfillment, and then ultimately a partnership. So I'm excited to have Susan joining us here today, where she's going to talk a little bit through what led her to write this book, and really some of the things that she hopes readers will discover about themselves, as they read it. So, Susan, I am so excited to have you today.
Thank you, Angie. I'm very excited to be here. And thank you so much for providing this platform for me to talk about my new book, A Life Before Love. As Angie already stated, I'm Susan Page. I'm a transitions coach for women. I work with women going through divorce, career change, empty nest syndrome, marriage, many of the things that I've been through in my own life. So my journey's not that different from the women that I work with. So I have navigated marriage and raising three sons, career change, going back to school as an older adult. Also, I've experienced grief and loss, and empty nest. So, and through all of those changes, I've learned a lot about myself. I've done a lot of self-discovery. I've learned about the resilience that myself and we as women have, and the importance of connecting with ourselves outside of the roles that we play. Professionally, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology from George Mason University. I'm also certified in leadership coaching for organizational well-being. And today I combine my professional and my personal experiences in helping women navigate some of those life transitions that I have been through myself. And the journey for this book, I'm so excited about it. It has come from the journey that I have been on in my own life, as well as from coaching and talking to the many women that I've talked to, and realizing that they need hope. They need hope and inspiration, and finding a way to navigate through some of life's most challenging transitions, and realizing that they hold all the power within themselves. So their happiness in their life depends upon them, and knowing who they are at the core. Um, so that's where the book came from. So
Well, thank you for sharing that, Susan, and all of those experiences that kind of brought you to today and to the point of releasing this book. I'm wondering, is there one particular experience that you had in your life that really led you to realize that this book was needed?
Um, yes, absolutely. I think that my divorce was a turning point for me, because when I divorced, I realized that I had lost sight of who I was. I knew who I was as a wife. I knew who I was as a mother. This role that I had played for over 3 decades, but I really didn't know who I was at the core. And I had to start from scratch. I had to get to know Susan again. And after my divorce, talking through with other women, I realized that I wasn't alone. A lot of us as women face those same challenges, because we play different roles. We're wife, we're mother, we're sister, we're employee, we're boss. but we're more than a role. We're a person. And so for me, that was a pivotal time in my life. And I didn't go it alone. I don't want people to think that I did this alone. I worked with a therapist and I worked with a life coach. And it was hard work. It was hard work, but I can tell you that it was well worth it.
You actually described a moment when the therapist told you that the husband you thought you knew never really existed.
Yeah.
Was that a pivotal moment for you? How did that change the way you thought about yourself when you heard that?
That really scared the hell out of me. I'll be honest with you. Um, I I thought, how can that be? How can you be married to someone for so many years and not really know them? But I feel that I had been living my life from a place of fear for so
Mm.
long that and there were lots of signs, there were lots of things that I didn't want to see. I didn't allow myself to see because of that fear, because of the, what's next? I don't know. And at that point, I think I realized I don't know who I am outside of being wife. I don't know who I am outside of who I am to him, who I have been for, almost 32 years. And that was scary. That's scary. Almost it happened so suddenly too, to wake up one morning and realize my life hasn't really truly been mine.
No, that it sounds like it was, I can just feel the fear that you had. And so how did that then lead you to take a different path?
Well, it led me on a path to self-discovery. So, after my divorce was final, first I dealt with the grief surrounding divorce. There's always any life transition. That's something that I work with my clients on. Any life transition you're going through, there's a grief involved in it, right? Because you're leaving something behind and you're going to something different, something new. There's fear involved in it too. So, but working through that, finding out why did I make the mistakes that I made, right?
Mm.
And I think when we go through, especially things like divorce, we always want to put the blame on someone else, and it's always two people. I played a part in my marriage, and the dissolve of my marriage as well. So taking responsibility for that, I think, and realizing what part I played in it, was my first step. And then delving into some family origin things. Why did I make those decisions? How did I end up in that place? So there's a lot of self-discovery involved in it, a lot of growth, going back to school, figuring out who I was, what did I want to do. And I believe that, even from then till now, my life has taken different turns. I didn't imagine back then that I would end up being a life transitions coach for women. So I didn't have that vision at that point in time, but it was something that evolved. So I think, I realized that I'm still growing. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I hope I never stop. So I'm always learning new things about myself. But yeah, I can't remember what your question was, Angie.
No, that was great. And it kind of leads me really into the theme that I see from your book, because one of the things that struck me was the book isn't really about finding a partner, right? It's about
No,
identity.
no.
And you were just talking through the steps that you took after that experience, really to discover your own identity. And I'm just curious, why is that so important for women?
Well, I think as women realizing, we're conditioned, we're conditioned from a young age, the fairy tale. Find the partner, get married, have children, and you're going to live happily ever after. And I'm not saying that relationships are not good. I want people to understand that as humans, we need connection with one another. We're wired for connection. But when two people that are whole, meaning that they've done their self-discovery, they know who they are, they're financially and personally independent, they're happy in their lives. They don't depend upon a partner for their happiness. When two people that are happy, separate from one another, come together, that creates a healthy relationship. So I'm not anti-relationship. And that's why my book, the subtitle, Why the Best Relationships Begin with You, because it does. If you don't know who you are, how can you possibly know what you are looking for in a partner? And if you don't love yourself first and love your life, putting that expectation on someone else is it's not only unrealistic, it's not fair to your partner. No one else should be wholly responsible for your happiness.
Mm. I love that. It's really to me the idea that you bring happiness to a marriage and you build on that, rather than trying to think that you're going to find it through the marriage or through the partnership. Is that really kind of
Absolutely.
the core idea?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so why do you think so many women struggle to develop this sense of identity apart from their relationships?
Oh, I think it's something that's conditioned from a young age. I know it was in my life. And I also think society doesn't help with that either. So, you look at the movies that are out there. I mean, it's always, oh, in any love story, it's always, finding that the partner, the woman's life is all about finding that right partner. So, and I think beginning at a young age, asking young women, what is it that you want out of your life apart from finding a partner? What goals do you have? What passions do you have? And not what roles are you going to play in your life? Because I think a lot of times as women, we think of ourselves in these roles that we play, such as wife and mother, sister, daughter, rather than who am I as an individual? What do I really want for my life? What's my purpose? And that takes work in self-discovery, and I think it takes time. And oftentimes as women, we're in a rush. We're in a rush to live that fairy tale life, right? We're fed that fairy tale from such a young age. And I mean, I remember, watching Cinderella as, I'm giving my age away, but I want that. She was so happy after she met her Prince Charming. I want that too. But, and not to say that you can't have your Prince Charming. That's not what my book is saying, but it will only be a healthy and whole relationship when you are healthy and whole within yourself.
It's so interesting to me because as you talk about it with the various roles like wife and mother, I also think as a leadership coach, I think about it as people in the same vein as they're defining their career and what they want to be. And so the thing that's been really interesting to me is all the progress that women have made, right? They've got more opportunities, they've got more independence, financial independence than they've had over previous generations, more career options that they have. And given all that progress, I'm just curious why you think that message is still so relevant today.
Oh, well, because I see it with women going through transitions because we still see ourselves in that role, that title that we have. So, women going through career transition, for example, a lot of that has been going on in the world today, right? People have lost their jobs, they've been in careers for many years. And I find that they ask outside of that role, then they don't know who they are. It's like their identity has been completely wrapped up in that role that they played, whether that be in a career or as a wife or as a mother. Women going through empty nest syndrome. Everything they did was around that role they played as mother. And outside of that, they sometimes they don't know. And not always, but sometimes they don't know who they are. They don't know what they want to do. And they have
So
to rediscover this.
you talk about in the book identity being the equivalent of roles, beliefs, values, and experiences.
Absolutely.
I'm just curious, which one of those do you think women most often lose touch with?
Um, well, I think their identity is I mean, that's our core. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of times, especially when you're looking to a partner to make you happy,
Hmm.
I see women molding themselves into their partner's life rather than coming into a partner's life with with your identity intact. Sometimes they mold their identity around, what they believe their partner needs them to be or wants them to be or who they should be. And I put that in quotation marks because I don't like the word should. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, I say. Um, yeah, so I think that that identity. I mean, we fall into roles so easily, and I think society plays a part in that too. What is your role as a mother? What does society tell you you're supposed to do? But I think, and a lot of times our identity too, a lot of our identity is formed from a very, very young age. Um, at a certain age, I know certainly when I went through my divorce, um, it was, till death do us part. And that didn't happen. And I had to really come to terms with some of my core beliefs and my identity as a wife. So I think that's probably the biggest one.
Well, so in your book, you introduce what you call the self.
Yes.
Can you share with us a little bit about what that means and why it's
Sure.
important?
Sure. So the Self Path, it's an acronym, and it's also a framework to help women find happiness in their life. And the steps in the path are see yourself clearly. That involves that identity, getting to know who you are as a person, your beliefs, your values, your boundaries, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Um, Establish your own life is step two. Um, that means establishing your life aside from any partner. And that has three pillars to it. So the first one being create create your own passion, your own career. And I say that and or um, the second pillar in that is to create financial independence and personal independence for yourself. And the third one being set your own goals, create your own future for yourself. So, and the third step in the self path is love your life first. And what that means is, as I stated earlier, you can't enter a relationship and know what you love in another person if you don't love your life and love yourself first. And the last step is find a partner to complement, not complete. So, and I think I already went a little bit into this, how you need to be going into a healthy relationship as a whole person. You've always been whole. Um, so a lot of women that I work with going through divorce, they feel broken. And it leaves us feeling that way, but we're not. It's just we've lost touch with a lot of parts of ourselves. So going into relationships in a whole place, so you're not looking for your partner to make you happy. You're already happy in your life. So they're just complementing an already fulfilling life.
One of the things that I step back and think about this overall framework, the self framework, is it seems like the core theme of it is agency. You're you're basically saying that women need to have ownership or take agency over the various pieces of their life and not let those things come and define their identity for them. Is that kind of what your intention was?
That is absolutely my intention. Because no one else is responsible for your happiness. And that's something that I had to learn for myself. Um, I think that after I went through my divorce, I found myself making the same mistakes. I was dating all the wrong people. I was still repeating the same behavior. And it wasn't until I really started working on myself and my own identity and using this, little did I know, I was using this self path. I didn't know it at the time, but I was. And so getting in touch with me and creating a life of my own that I loved. Um, then could I go and look into a partnership with someone else from a healthy place? So I absolutely I had to get agency over my own life because I was letting things happen to me. I wasn't taking control of my life, and saying enough is enough.
So when you think about that four-step framework, where did you see yourself getting stuck?
Oh, um, I think where I see a lot of women getting stuck is loving my life first. Um, it was so ingrained in me, looking outside of myself for happiness rather than within myself.
Mhm.
And it can be uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable sitting in your own unhappiness for a while until you figure out what brings me happiness, what brings me joy. And I think I didn't know. I honestly did not know when I went through my divorce. I didn't know who I was anymore outside of the role I played in my marriage. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have hobbies or didn't do things, but as a whole, I really had to rediscover who I was, and start over again.
Um, what do you think? So I just want to talk a little bit about some of the real life application of this and of the framework that you're offering to folks.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think are some signs that someone may be looking to a relationship for happiness instead of creating happiness within themselves?
Um, well, number one is ignoring red flags. You know, when you're in a relationship with someone and you see the red flags, but you choose to ignore them. Um,
Mm.
I think that's a huge sign. When you feel like you can't be happy unless you're in a relationship, that's definitely a sign that you need to step back and do some self-work and figure out why. Why am I looking to this relationship to make me happy? Um,
Now, this idea of red flags is really interesting to me because those red flags may be different for everyone, right?
right.
But I'm just curious in your coaching experience and just what you've seen with women, like red flags show up in your body in other ways. Like,
Yeah.
what are some signs that people might see that in themselves that says this is a problem? This is a warning light.
Um, Tension. For me, it was just this feeling, this uncomfortable feeling. And I felt this in my marriage too. I knew something was wrong. It was just like I knew it to the core. I could feel it in my body. And whatever someone's religious beliefs are, whether it's the universe or God, to me it was God. God was telling me something was wrong. Um, and I ignored it because of fear. So I think that whether it's your body giving you tension, you're feeling stress, or you become obsessed with, I have to call them, I have to talk with them. I know they're out on a date with someone else, or um, those are signs that you need to slow down. You need to stop and listen to what your body is telling you, to what your mind is telling you, um, and don't be afraid. I think fear sometimes drives us, but fear in itself is a wake-up call. If you're finding yourself feeling fear, then something is wrong.
So I think that that's really powerful. It's just really, to me, speaking to the fact that sometimes we're in a relationship or we're doing something and the signals may be there, but we maybe haven't taken the time to actually stop and pause, notice them, figure out what they're telling us so that we can figure out a different path. I think that's really, really powerful to think about. And I'm curious what it from your perspective, it actually means to find a partner who complements rather than completes you.
Um, it means that I've done the work in my own life and my life is happy. However, as humans, we are wired for that connection, right? So I want someone who can share my life with me. We don't have to do everything together. We don't have to have the same exact hobbies, but I can share in his joys, he can share in mine. And I say he because I am engaged to someone now. It's taken,
Congratulations.
thank you. And he has become a blessing in my life. He's an addition to an already full life. Um, and that took a big shift in thinking for me. And it took time. And it was only after I worked on myself and I realized I love myself. I love my life. I love working with women. I love what I do. Um, and my partner just adds to that love and adds to that life that I already have. Um,
I think what you're suggesting for me brings up a different image of my mind. I've always, as I've kind of in my own life thought about a marriage, I kind of think of two people becoming one. In fact, that language is
yeah,
used quite frequently. But I think that meaning has shifted for me now, where I think about you don't actually sacrifice some of yourself to be able to do that. You actually create a larger one.
right.
And so the visual image in my mind, is that how you think about that, or do you think about it in a
Absolutely.
different way?
No, absolutely. I picture two people who are already whole human beings
Mm,
coming together and just enhancing each other's lives. You don't become one person because when you become one person, you lose so much of yourself.
mm,
So that's not a good thing to become one person because you don't want to lose your individuality. I don't want him to lose his individuality because that's why I fell in love with him in the first place.
mm.
So,
I love that. Um, so you went through this experience of writing the book, which I know is a journey in and of itself.
yeah.
What did writing this book teach you about yourself?
Wow. Yeah, writing the book was hard. And so some of the chapters were harder than others. Reliving some things. I delve into a lot of family origin things in my life. I realized I've been through some stuff. So, um, but I've also realized that not just me, I'm a strong woman, and it's I've gained confidence, I've gained strength through it, and I've also realized my passion for helping women. The more I wrote, the more passionate I became about reaching women and helping them on their journey, on their self-discovery journey, on their self path. Um, and it's really been a labor of love for me. It's taken me a lifetime to get here. And I will say that it started out, the original book that I was going to write started out as a therapeutic exercise for myself. And what it turned out to be was something totally different. So, and I'm very, very thankful for that. Very excited.
Is it fair to say that your journey of writing this book actually also helped shape your identity?
Um, I believe so. I absolutely, because we're always growing and we're always changing and learning. So I learned more about myself through writing this book. And it brought up conversations. I'm very close with my brother, and I bring that out a little bit in the book. And so he and I do talk to each other on a regular basis. So some of the conversations that the book sparked between he and I have been very good. Um, yeah,
Great.
it's been a great journey writing this book.
So I'm thinking about advice that you might have for others, and really kind of this journey of self-discovery that you're inviting readers into. So if someone who is listening today is feeling lost, they're feeling uncertain, disconnected from themselves, what would you want them to know?
Well, first and foremost, I want them to know that they're not broken. A lot of times you hear women refer to themselves as broken. You're not broken. You are whole. Something has happened to you, but that doesn't define who you are as a person. And I would, of course, I would encourage them to read my book and start on their own self path. But I would also encourage them to be very patient with themselves and be mindful about what they're feeling, what their bodies are telling them through all of this, and and know that you're not alone. Um, there's a lot of women that are going through transitions that are very difficult in their lives. And you're strong. You're strong, and you can get through this.
Uh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that to all of the people who are listening today. Um, so where can people find your book, A Life
Woo!
Before Love, Susan?
Exciting part.
Yeah.
The book goes on sale on Monday, the 15th of June. And they can find my book on Amazon and on Ingram Spark. So,
Excellent. So
yeah,
just a few days from now.
just a few
Um,
days from now. Yep, yep, very
and then
excited.
so as we wrap up today, Susan, tell me what's next for Susan? What's next for you as
Oh,
you
wow.
begin this book launch?
Well, now that the book is done, my focus is on putting my message into practice. So I'm looking, for women, looking for 5 women in particular who are interested in starting their own self path journey. Um, and they can either comment on this interview, or they can reach out to me at Susan at bestlifecoaching.pro. Um, so, yeah, so if you're listening today and my message has struck a chord with you, I welcome you to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about your journey. So,
Well, that's so exciting, Susan. I just, as I've kind of watched your journey through this, it has been inspiring to me, and just your passion for supporting women at particularly difficult times in their lives and helping them see a path to self-discovery is it's so inspiring. So I want to thank you so much for being with me today, and to all those listening out there, please get a copy of Susan's book, and I think you'll find it just as meaningful as I did. Thanks, Susan. Good to see
thank you
you.
so much, Angie.